5 in the Simulation Rugby League Premiership. Thanks for joining us on SRL TV, live from Penrith. It's the Broncos taking on the Panthers. A do-or-die fixture for the Broncos as they make their way out onto the park, while the Panthers tied equal, top of the ladder, third in the standings, looking for one more win to possibly lock in their first appearance in the SRL final series. A few debutants on the park tonight, and we'll get to those in a moment. But as mentioned, this is a big game for the Brisbane Broncos, the minor premiers from season 1. Staring down the barrel as Sonny Tyre gets the game underway in front of a big crowd here in Penrith. It's the Broncos. Hands on the ball first up, and their vice skipper Jackson Ellison taking it forward. So it was the Broncos going down last week to the Warriors over in Auckland, 24 points to 10. Their season currently 1 win and 3 losses. And knowing that tonight's game is possibly their biggest game of the season. And they know the importance and how it's going to play out as they make their way through their first set, no problems, putting it down deep into Panthers territory. History between these two sides. They've played each other once before. It was the Broncos coming out on top, 24 points to 12 in Brisbane. But how the tables have turned in just a couple of months. The Panthers narrowly missing out on the finals in season 1. And they have started season 2 with an absolute bang. Bit of a blip on the radar last week, going down to Manly. And what was possibly Manly's best performance of the season, beating the Panthers 22 points to 2. Holding the Panthers tryless as Thorne pumps it down towards the try line of the Broncos with
here's tackle 1.
Lucas Burns to bring it back, his first touch in the SRL. Lucas Burns making his debut tonight for the Broncos. All the controversy during the week. Connor Sanderson has been sacked by the Broncos.
Back to 10.
Private investigators found
That's tackle 4, hands off.
Money laundering going on in the background of Connor Sanderson's accounts. And he has been dumped out of the Broncos squad and is playing down in Division 2 at the moment. But Lucas Burns coming in to replace him, and not a bad replacement either. A lot of speed on the outside for Burns, and he'll be looking to make an impact straight away on the Broncos near touchline, their right wing tonight. It's the Panthers with the ball. They go down the short side. Parker looking to dart his way through the middle as they come back centre field, this time through Sinclair. Lachlan Sinclair's had a pretty quiet season compared to his season 1 exploits, and rumour has it that Sinclair could be on the outer at the Panthers, with the salary cap coming into play in season 3 and his performances being below par. There's just a couple of noises circulating within the SRL community. And Scott takes it down. Swing at centre field, excellent to Ellison. Good take there by the big front rower. Another player who's been a little bit underutilised this season, Jackson Ellison. Frustration starting to creep into his game. Only 7 runs for 38 metres against the Warriors last week. And really needing to lift his game if the Broncos are going to have any chance in making the finals here in Season 2. So we'll quickly run through these two sides in a moment. As mentioned, 3 debutants in the park in this afternoon's game. They punch it down to the wing of Nathan Fisher, and the Panthers skipper met well in a good tackle.
Let him go, let him
Right.
go. Hill, that's your
So
second.
first up, the Panthers. Pretty standard back line. Brodie Kennedy, Sonny Tyre, Tyler Amatangi, Johan Parker and Nathan Fisher. But a big change in the halves with Mason Yates packing up and leaving midweek.
Up now. 4.
Two teams with 2 controversies. In fact, Mason Yates deciding the SRL's not for him, and he's gone. Replaced by Joshua Butterfield, making his debut in the number 6 jumper tonight. He'll partner up with James Thorne, arguably the SRL's leading 5'8", and he's just given away a horrible penalty. Looked like he's kicked it into Tyler Amatangi. And Dixon will look to find the touchline, but he's made an absolute hash of it. Calamity of errors to start the game for both sides.
Right, that's 0.
So the rest of the Panthers lineup, Mason Remy, Mark Lee and Lachlan Sinclair up the front, while Lachlan Martin, Sean Bradford and Corey Parker round out the Panthers 13. On the bench, Vinny Detroit and Jack Spillane will make their debuts this afternoon, while it's Joshua Blackburn and Hayden Davis who round out your Panthers 17. And as mentioned, looking to solidify their spot in the SRL Season 2 finals. So a mistake there by Bronson Dixon after the penalty. And he's put it over the back of the in goal. Disappointing mistake from the Broncos 5'8", who finds himself back in the starting 13 this week. So we'll go through that Broncos lineup as well. Sam Hodgson at the back. His 3rd game at fullback for the Broncos. Joey Kelly, the skipper, and Lucas Burns on the wings. Theo Scott, Cooper Gronk in the middle. In the halves, it's the familiar combination of Bronson Dixon and Levi Raymond. As we see, the Broncos just forced over the sideline. It was Joey Kelly. Big tackle by Brodie Kennedy. And then the rest of the Broncos lineup, Jackson Ellison, Samuel Atchison, David Hastings up the front row, while Pete Veretto, Simon Hunt and Jordan Ford back into the starting 13 after his injury a couple of weeks ago. On the bench, Jake Tuss, Malachi Bergen, Sean Walker and Justin Plays in the number 17 jumper this week. Broncos trying a few things out last week in their halves. As mentioned, Bronson Dixon starting on the bench as Remy busts his way forward. A good tackle by Hodgson wraps him up. And the big front rower, I don't think he managed to get the ball down. But a good bust up through the middle. All the same, and the Panthers will restart from the Broncos 10 here. On the tackle 4. Sinclair busts through 1, and Lachlan Sinclair, just as we say, he needs to have a big game, and he's charged his way through and scored his first try of the season. So it's Penrith, and Sinclair busts off the tackle. I think it could have been Theo Scott. The big don't argue from Lachlan Sinclair, and Tyre will slot this one straight down the middle, right out in front. You'd have to think extra 2 for the Panthers. 6 points to 0. Sonny Tyre keeps his 100% kicking record intact. And the home crowd have not sat down the opening 15 minutes. So Dixon will get the game underway. We were just touching on the Justin Plays and Bronson Dixon situation. We'll get back to that as the game gets underway. And the try scorer will bring it back Into heavy contact, Jackson Ellison and Pete Veretto. So Justin Plays making his debut in the starting lineup for the Broncos last week, pairing up with Levi Raymond and Bronson Dixon, forced to the bench, but it was a game to forget for Justin Plays. 2 errors that really cost the Broncos in their game against the Warriors. Kicked 235 metres, which was a good effort, but there was the 2 errors that really took the toll on that big Broncos pack. And he'll be looking to make more of an impact this time off the bench as Tuss wraps up Sonny Tyre just inside the Broncos half. Thorne gets away, a decent kick. Come down to Hodgson, and he's fumbled it and put it forward. So a knock on from the Broncos, and the Panthers will restart from the scrum, only 10 out. Not a great pass from Parker from the base. Thorne just decides to settle it down to centre field. So Martin shrugs off another. This time it was David Hastings who couldn't take him down. Inside the Broncos to the 10, the Panthers looking to go bang bang as Remy just straightens it up, powers the legs forward. It's Ford who has to take him down, but they're 5 metres out here. The Panthers cut out past to Bradford. A big charging run by the little second rower, but it's Pete Veretto. Possibly too strong, wraps him up around the shoulders underneath the armpits, and that's a good defence by the Broncos vice skipper. So 2 tackles remaining. Wide they come, near side of Remy again, just charging it forward. Big defence on him, it's Hastings and Simon Hunt. Slow play the ball from Remy. Right they go, final tackle. Thorne gets to get away, but he's dropped it forward. Unable to get any sort of clean contact on the ball. And the Broncos survive this Panthers onslaught. It's been all Penrith in the opening 20 minutes so far. Good charge by David Hastings. Just straightening it up. 11 runs for 103 metres last week for the big Englishman. And Sam Hodgson plays the ball, really starting to fill in well at the Broncos number 1. 190 run metres and 7 line breaks against the Warriors. So after Sanderson coming in the off-season for the Broncos, he really fell out of favour towards the end. Lacking speed and any real punch, as we come to expect from our fullbacks here in the SRL. But Sam Hodgson looks to be the answer for the Broncos, as Bradford put in a good hole by Butterfield. 35 metres out here, the Panthers. They go to Spillane. First touch of the SRL. Good charge by Jack Spillane. On early here for the Panthers. This time it's Martin. Up towards the Broncos 10. Final tackle. Leah dummy half. Back to Thorne. It's a high kick by James Thorne. Coming through Yuan Parker. And he's dotted down for the Panthers' second try. The big number 3. Second try of the season. Tyre will add the extra 2. And the Panthers have come out hot tonight. A frustrating start to the season by Yuan Parker. Only 2 line breaks last week against the Seagulls. Although Manly's defence has been more resolute over the last coming weeks, it was a quiet game for Parker. But that will give him a lot of confidence going forward.
Release.
And he'll be looking to make that European 13 side at the World Cup, which is scheduled for early 22. As the Panthers a 12-point lead as Almatangi gets a good offload, flinging it inside to Vinny Detroit. His first touch in the SRL. Lee from dummy half. This is frantic from the Panthers early on. Through the hands this time, Kennedy injecting him for herself from fullback. So we're going to have to try and separate Vinny Detroit and Yuan Parker, both with the Mohawks playing on opposite sides of the park at the moment, make it a little bit easier. But these two new players for the Panthers, as well as Butterfield in the halves, and they have come out strong against Brisbane, who, as Tuss tries to get the hands free, had Hodgson on his inside, decides to hold on to it. As they come near side, Dixon. 3 Panthers players take him down. Enjoying the starting role this week is Atchison. That's a good run from dummy half by the little number 9. Picks up an extra 20 metres. Final tackle now. Back to Dixon. Puts a little chip kick for Veretto. Veretto takes it well. Looking for the upload. It's tossed outside him. But it's a good tackle by Corey Parker. And wraps up the big fiery redhead.
He's held there. 1. Release.
So 26 minutes gone
2. Hands away.
here in Penrith. 2 tries to open the game for the Panthers. 12 points to 0. Just the start they were hoping for. Contrary to the Broncos, who really need to find someone to spark some sort of attack, as Parker almost gets away from Veretto. Tackling well so far this afternoon, Pete Veretto. Butterfield with the kick across field to the wing of Burns. First opportunity to really stretch the legs, Lucas Burns. And a good return by the Broncos' new number 5. Hodgson through the middle. More good metres for the Broncos back line. 6 tries in season 1 for Sam Hodgson. Quite a season with ball in hand. Only 2 tries to his name at present, but a lot of those games were played on the wing for the Broncos. As Ford almost got through the line, managed to find Dixon on his outside. Good tackle on him. The Broncos go to Ford to put it high. Not the highest kick, but Tuss comes down with it. But wrapped up in a good tackle by Mark Lee. And Jake Tuss will hand the ball over to Penrith.
Get off him. 1. Release.
So over halfway through season 2 of the Simulation Rugby League Premiership, as we draw closer to finals footy. Season 1, it was the Broncos, the minor premiers. The Warriors runners up, followed by the Rabbitohs and the Eels. And it was the Eels and the Warriors who met head to head in the final. A final that went to extra time, Golden Point, where Hayden Yates slotted the 1-pointer. And it was the Parramatta Eels, the inaugural champions of the SRL, beating the Warriors 19 points to 18.
That's your second. Hill.
And what a season we've had so far in season 2. Manly, Penrith, even the Raiders, all surprising pundits after their early season predictions.
Up now.
Many were saying it was the Broncos and Rabbitohs too strong as we start of the season. It's really concerning to see what's happened in the Brisbane side this season, as they've had no real spark. Their forwards don't seem to have the punch that they did in season 1. Jackson Ellison and David Hastings, both representative players.
3 markers lock in.
Well, the Panthers recruited well. Sonny Tyre coming from the Storm,
4,
slotting into that near wing and taking over the kicking duties. One of the best pickups in the off-season, Sonny Tyre. While Nathan Fisher, the skipper, as we see him just take that ball up, continues to grow in that leadership role and is surrounded by an encouraging group of young players. As Kelly plays the ball for Brisbane. This time they go to Veretto. Wrapped up well in a good tackle. Far side they stay. Scott busts through the first line of defence. Front on tackle by Kennedy. 5 minutes until half time. That's Jake Tuss forced back in a big tackle. Kennedy around the waist. Sinclair up over the top. Veretto once again taking it forward. Tackle 5 now for the Broncos. 12 points to 0 behind. Approaching half time as Raymer just puts in a deft kick down to the wing of Fisher. And it's a good chase from the Broncos outside backs, led by Dixon. As they go to Butterfield this time, looking to settle things down centre field. Panthers stay far side as well. Short ball to Kennedy. Good ball by Butterfield, finding Kennedy on his shoulder. As he decides to take this one up into contact. This time it's Parker, Yuan. Up into the line. Gronk wraps him up. Fumble by Spillane. Does well to hold on to it. And spots a gap. Offloads as well to Parker. So another good run by Jack Spillane. On debut tonight. It was the final tackle, in fact. And Parker was wrapped up. But encouraging signs for the Panthers. As mentioned, 2 players on debut for them, Jack Spillane and Vinny Detroit. Lucas Burns for the Broncos. A vast of potential superstars entering the league this week. And we'll see more of them over the coming games of round 5 in the SRL. Just over a minute and a half remaining until half time. Dixon from inside his 40. Looking for the 40-20. Kennedy as well to get back and returns it just down this near touch line. Cut out pass from Thorne, finds Remy. Hastings around the legs. Good tackle by David Hastings. Near side, Martin charging it forward, pumping the legs. To the wing of Tyre. Breaks away from the tackle of Hodgson. Wrapped up by Kuka Gronk. Final tackle now, final play, as Martin will take it forward. Half time here in Penrith. 12 points to 0 to the Panthers. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back to SRL TV. Round 5 action from Penrith. It's the Panthers leading at half-time, 12 points to 0. 2 tries in the opening quarter as Dixon gets the second half underway. It's the Panthers with possession of the ball to start the second half. Looking for much of the same in the second 40 minutes.
He's held there. 2 hands away.
Big opening halves from Mason Remy, Lachlan Sinclair and Yuan Parker.
3. Back to 10.
Sean Bradford as well, up over 70 metres in that opening 40 minutes.
Hold the 10.
As they go up to the halfway line. Tackle 4, they go through Thorn.
Held. 5th and last.
Taking down the Broncos half, so a good first up set here for Penrith. Lee with the kicking duties. Sort of hovers in the air for Joey Kelly to return. And Kelly will set it up just outside the Broncos 40. And a good tackle by Brodie Kennedy. So another frustrating half for Brisbane. The story of their season as they haven't really managed to get out of first gear.
He's held there. 3. Back with me.
Players to come off the bench
He's got his advantage.
as they've given the ball away here.
0 tackle.
Lachlan Sinclair's come away with it. So an early turnover. An unforced one is that for the Broncos. And the Panthers will have a really good opportunity as Remy busts off one tackle. Finds Martin on his outside. Another good charge by Mason Remy. Inside the Broncos 10 they go as Thorn's wrapped up in a good tackle. Hodgson takes him down. He's come away from that one. Not looking very good at all, Sam Hodgson. Lachlan Martin powering his way over. And Martin looks to have gone over for a try. We're gonna go upstairs. If he's got it down, it's his first one of the season. I don't see any issues. The bunker says yes, and the Panthers strike first in the second half. So an error on their first set for Brisbane. And Mason Remy just set that one up. Hardest kick of the night for Sonny Tyre, but he makes no problems. 100% kicking record remains for season 2. 18 points to 0. And the game is starting to get away from them here for the Broncos. As Dixon will get things back underway. And it's Remy who once again just charges straight up through the middle. A big game so far from Mason Remy. And behind him this time, Kennedy. Taking it forward up over the Broncos line. This is a masterclass performance so far by the Panthers. Broncos really haven't had any opportunities. I can't remember the last time the Broncos were down Penrith's end of the field. Parker this time, he'll put the kick in. Not a bad kick and a good chase from the Panthers. McKelly gets away from Parker, leaves him on the ground. It's left to Kennedy and James asks Joshua Butterfield. As Veretto takes it forward, offloads to Raymond. He can't get away, it's Parker, wraps him up. Atchison again from dummy half. He's ran well, the little number 9 so far this afternoon. Right they go to Hastings. A big hole for David Hastings, but a good tackle on him. It's Mark Lee, wraps him up as Kennedy was nowhere to be seen. Hastings would have been away under the posts. So final tackle here for the Broncos, needing points desperately. It's Raymond putting it high. It's a big floating kick that's gone a little bit too far deep. Kennedy takes it with no real pressure on him. And they'll survive once again.
He's held there. 2. Held.
Remy really getting the thick of
3.
things.
Hands
Again
away.
this week, 13 runs, 131 metres last week against Manly. And he is touching the ball
Hands off.
once or twice, I said at the moment. As the Panthers look to kick early, it's not a great kick by James
Held
Thorne.
there. That's 1. Move.
It's come off the side of the boot and the Broncos have snapped it up.
Held. 2. Hands away.
So as we cross into the 15-minute mark, it's Theo Scott put in a good hole. Inside the Panthers 10. This is the chance. This is what they need as they go inside to Jordan Ford. Hard to stop. Ford only a metre out. Good play the ball. Flat to Pete Barretto. The big redhead. He's too big, too strong, but good defence from Penrith and they hold him up. Like Mason Remy, Pete Barretto is having an absolute blinder tonight after a fairly quiet game last week against the Warriors. Knowing that he needs to step up in the leadership group as Raymond puts a little deft kick in for Ford, collects it well, but can't get away from the swarming Panthers defence.
1. Release.
They have come to play tonight.
Held. That's your second.
The lead is all around the park for Penrith.
He's held there.
As mentioned earlier, in the first half, James Thorne regarded as probably the best half in the competition,
4.
averaging 267 kick metres per game. He's only had 1 assist this season,
He's held there. Tackle 5.
but he is
Hold.
leading from the front and really finding good territory for the Panthers. This time it's Butterfield with the kick. It's Burns who returns it.
Release.
Interchange bench looks to be warming up. Scott this time. Good flat ball, had Raymond on his inside. Decided to go himself. Wrapped up by Kennedy. The Broncos still trying to find
He's held there.
some sort of spark. It's Jake Tuss this time. To Ford. Flat ball. Jordan Ford.
Hold the 10.
A good pick-up for the Broncos in the off-season. This time it's Pete Barretto. More metres up through the middle.
Let him go.
Final tackle now. 10 metres out. Back to Raymond. Trying the up and under once again. A better chase from the Broncos. But it's Ewan Parker coming down with it. And a bit of space in front of him as well. Parker with Raymond chasing. Covering well. It's Levi Raymond and Ewan Parker. Big numbers outside him. But Parker doesn't decide to give it. And goes down himself. Just outside the Broncos 10. What a run from Ewan Parker. But you'd have to say, has he messed it up? Big numbers to the left. Decides to go himself. Possibly a selfish move. As Martin charging it forward. Still 2 tackles remaining for Penrith. Leah dummy half to Thorne. Looking to go over himself, James Thorne. Good defence on him. So final tackle. Butterfield on the toe. Allison knocks it on to Jacob Blackburn, and the Panthers going for their 4th try and possibly wrap up the game here in front of their home crowd. Allison couldn't collect it. A great kick from Butterfield. The bounce of the ball. As Blackburn goes back, just come onto the park. First try in the SRL. And that could be it for the Broncos. Tyre adds the extra 2, 24 points to 0. back live in the SRL. Second half action. Halfway through, or coming up, end of the third quarter in this one. Jacob Blackburn going over for his debut try. Horrible bounce for Jackson Ellison. Rumours circulating, in fact, that Ellison is not happy at the Broncos, asking for a possible release for season 3. All rumours at the moment, but he is very vocal on social channels, and it will be interesting to see what the Kangaroo skipper will do. Mistake here from Panthers after the restart. It's the Broncos inside the Panthers 30, through the hands of Veretto to Ellison. A massive nines campaign for Jackson Ellison, but he really hasn't clicked things together so far this season, as Remy's put a massive hit on Simon Hunt.
Held two. He's held there.
And another mistake for the Broncos, as the interchange bench looks to have emptied out. We'll wait and see where they've gone. Hayden Davis on the field. Obviously, Joshua Blackburn scoring after being on for only 30 seconds. Justin Plays and Sean Walker as well. I'm just not sure where they've gone in though. Thorne puts a kick in. Kelly with it. A good chase by Yuan Parker, and they wrap Kelly up inside the Broncos 30.
He's held there. 2 on the keep going.
Near side to Veretto.
Held 3. Back
Nothing changes for Pete Veretto. Just 80 minutes. Full tack. Does not give an inch, as does Jordan Ford. A big game from these two players, but it hasn't been enough so far. Staring down the barrel, 24 points to 0. To Gronk this time for the kick, just puts it over to the wing of Sonny Tyre. Chases well, forcing Tyre towards the touchline. Doing well to stay inside the field of play. As Thorne will play the ball to Tyre inside to Hayden Davis on the field. First touch of the game.
Back with me.
Making his debut last week off the bench.
That's tackle 4, hands off.
We won't go through his stats. I think he made 2 metres in one run, but he's a second run already, and some good metres up through the middle by Hayden Davis. Word coming in that Sam Hodgson will not be returning tonight after going off earlier in the second half. The Broncos number 1 picking up quite a serious injury after making that tackle on, I think it was Sean Bradford. That'll be a frustrating loss for the Broncos after all the troubles they've had at fullback. Even in season 1, never really having that go-to fullback option. So with Sanderson leaving and Hodgson injured, it'll be interesting to see who they play in the number 1 jumper next week.
Release. He's held there. Held 2, hands away.
Broncos taking on Manly at home in round 6.
He's held 3. He's held there.
While the Panthers have a tough run home
4. Get back. Look
with
at
Parramatta
Get
at
up
home
in.
next week, and then away to GIO Stadium against the Raiders.
Held there. 5. Markers lock in.
But this win here tonight will do them a great deal of confidence. A disappointing loss to the Sea Eagles last week, but we can't take anything away from Manly as they defended well. Their best defensive effort of the season after conceding quite a few points in the opening 3 rounds.
Hands off. He's held there.
And holding the Panthers scoreless. Only the 1 penalty for Sonny Tyre in the second half. Manly running away with that one, 22 points to 2 against Penrith. Hastings to play the ball. Tackle 5, Raymond putting it high, no real depth to that one, and now Matangi's taking it down comfortably, forced backwards in a good tackle, losing a few metres, but no one really going up for the Broncos and contesting. So Kennedy, short ball to Parker, a good charge, good angles from the lock forward. Lee at dummy half, through the hands of Butterfield to Davis. Impact well off the bench so far this afternoon. Right side they say, inside to Kennedy, breaking through a hole and looking dangerous.
5, hole on the 10.
It looks like the fullback for the Broncos as Burns takes it.
Release.
It's Jake Tuss playing fullback.
That's his second. He's held there.
As we might make a change on that. We'll keep an eye on the interchange bench, but it looks like Jake Tuss is going to move back into the front row. We'll wait and see
Hands away.
who comes on. It'll be the next stoppage of play, and Tuss barges up through the middle, shrugs off one, shrugs off another, offloads it well. Bergen picks up the scraps.
Held there. 4, hole on the 10.
To Kelly.
5, hold, held. Let him
Word
go.
coming in, Joey Kelly's going to move to the fullback position at the next stoppage of play. As Raymond sends it down to Sonny Tyre.
He's held there. That's 1. Move.
Short ball to Parker. Finds himself another hole. Hard to take down. It's Tuss who wraps him up and throws him to the ground. They go flat to Martin this time. Another big game from Lachlan Martin after a quiet game last week. Through the hands to Kennedy, almost getting away from Levi Raymond. Parker at dummy half. This time it's to Blackburn. Playing the ball on the final. Butterfield with the kick. He's kicked well so far this afternoon. Joshua Butterfield to the wing of Lucas Burns. Looks like he's going to play a full 80 minutes tonight. So Hastings on the charge. Shrugs off Mark Lee. A good charge by the big front rower. So coming up after this, it's the Parramatta Eels and the South Sydney Rabbitohs locking horns in what is set to be the game of the round. Two teams with Premiership in their sights. Obviously the Eels looking to defend their Season 1 Premiership, while the Rabbitohs red hot after their win against the Rabbitohs last week. An absolute masterclass from Liam Ryan in the halves. Chaz Dingo, exciting as ever, but it's a battle of the fullbacks, you'd have to say. Dingo versus Barnes. Two of the SRL's best as Butterfield gets it inside to Mark Lee. Dixon comes across, but the Panthers looking to sign off through Fisher. Big defence on him by Kelly. To Blackburn this time. Just straightening it up and going straight through the middle. Final tackle, Butterfield, they give it to Davis. Hayden Davis putting it high, not a bad kick either. A little bit too deep, Tusses underneath it, and he uses the big left foot to step around the tackle. Outside to the Broncos 10.
He's held there. 2 hands away. Held. 3 back with me.
But they've been too strong tonight, Penrith. A win here sees them back up to the top of the SRL Premiership. A loss last week to Manly, but their season is back on track. An absolute demolition of the Broncos here tonight.
That's 1. Move. He's held there.
4 wins, 1 loss is their record, while it's the opposite for the Broncos. Their 3rd loss in a row, and they will stay locked at the bottom of the table.
He's held there. Right, that's a 3rd.
Still with their slim chance of surviving, really needed to win tonight.
4. Get back, look at me.
But from here on out, needing other games to go their way. Thorne will grab more metres, looking for a 40-20, not quite getting it. It'll go over the back of the in goal. Picking up some more big metres there though, James Thorne. So unable to trouble the scores tonight, the Broncos. Frustration reigning supreme in their squad as the siren sounds, and it's the Panthers. 24 points to 0, 4 converted tries. Running riot in front of their home crowd and continuing their dance up to the top of the SRL ladder. 60% possession for the Panthers. Good completion rates as well, 23 out of 25. 5 errors for the Broncos. No real major differences between the two sides. Possibly just the hunger for the Panthers, getting them over the line 4 times. But we hope you've enjoyed this round 5 opening fixture. Stay tuned. A little over 10 minutes time, it's the Panthers, the Eels taking on the Rabbitohs. We'll see you soon.